I know you guys have been busy with your builds and your shows and your weddings and your bachelors and all that stuff. But your latest project is this, guys. It's a book for kids. I think it's so perfect. It's so cute. Now, I want you guys to tell me a little bit more about it. Come on over here. I am so excited to talk about this book because first of all, yeah, don't drink them. First of all, the fact that you wrote a children's book, there are so many other celebrities and you would say, oh, they wrote a children's book. But you guys have been raised by such good parents and you've learned such great lessons that I think everything in here is so valid. So I want to talk a little bit about the lessons you learned as kids and how you might be using that now as grown-ups. So one thing that comes from the book that you will see is the lesson of working together.
That's a big part of it.
That's a big one.
One of the biggest lessons. I mean, our whole lives, everything Jonathan and I have done, whether it was for fun, leisure activity, or whether it was, creating our first business at 7 years old, we've worked together.
And you can instill those, characteristics in kids when they're very, very young. Because, our parents, it was very important that they understood that we could accomplish more if we worked together.
Yes.
And I feel like we kind of proved that Mom and Dad were right.
You're right, Mom. You're right, Dad.
And they always are.
Yeah.
Mommy and Daddy are always right. Planning to fund or finance a project. This is important. You've got to put some thought into that.
Yeah, in the book, you see us, we're getting together all of our, and the book, by the way, is written from a real story when we were kids. Our neighbor's dog did not have a dog house. We wanted to build it. We pooled together our allowance and got it all together. But it's true in real life. You want to make sure that you plan in advance and you use your money as efficiently as possible. Life, is expensive, and especially when you're taking on a project. So thinking of ways that you can be better organized to better finance.
Well, and that was a big part. One of the biggest lessons in the book is that failure is not a bad thing if you learn from it. Anything you succeed, you will probably have mistakes or failure along the way. But in the book, we sort of rushed into building this doghouse, and we ended up building it too small. Right. But we worked together, and he drank from the Jonathan cup, learned a few things, and then in the end, we're able to work together and succeed.
Right. So then, with that said, knowing that the dog couldn't fit into it, you had to switch gears. This is an important lesson for all of us, guys. Life will always throw you that wrench, and then you've got to figure out how to switch gears and move on.
Get a smaller dog. If you build a small dog house.
Yeah, that's thinking outside the box. I mean, our parents said to us, if someone says you can't do something, find 5 ways to do it.
Yes.
And they always encouraged us to let our creativity flow and think outside the box. And so that's in the book here, we end up having too small of a doghouse. We turn into a birdhouse. The best part of the book, at the end of the book, there's an actual hands-on.
Give away the ending.
Well, that's all right. That's all right.
Alert.
The parents can know the ending. But the end of the book, you actually have a hands-on project that kids and their parents or teachers can do. It's using materials around your house, you can actually build a birdhouse.
Which is so cool. So there's an element of actually getting together as a team and making something work. I want to talk about gaining confidence to dream big, because one thing that both of you have tried from probably birth is like one big idea to another big idea. You mentioned your first business. You were 7 years old. Was that the hanger business?
Yeah, the hanger business.
Tell them about the hanger business.
So we had seen at this craft fair, there were these hangers with nylon wrapped around it and a little rosette, and we're like, we could do that.
You know those hangers, right?
You probably have them.
I had them growing up.
Something. So we went with Mom to the craft store. We bought the supplies, and we started making these, went door to door, did them in holiday colors, and we found this woman who had a chain of American paraphernalia stores in Japan who started buying them from us by the thousands. And so all of a sudden, at 7 years old, we were global, baby.
Here's what we did as kids.
Worldwide.
We even hired, our mom even helped us with some of the rosettes, and then we were 10 years old, we were in Scotland, and our parents' credit cards got held. They thought it was fraud or something, and they had to wait a week to get the new cards. We floated our parents at 10 years old for the week until, no big deal.
It's true, though, because I believe it is so important to support the fact that kids can do anything they set their minds to. I think kids need to know. Because you probably remember back when you were a kid, everything's possible, and then all of a sudden adults start telling you, nope, no, you can't do that. And we could actually learn something from kids, I think, to dream big.
Definitely.
That's right. Like, throw everything out the window and just do it. And adults are always going to come in and be really practical and say, well, I don't know, they don't want you to get hurt, or they don't want you to fail. Fail, try it, but do it. And that's kind of the point. Okay, so now that you've done a children's book, I want to know what's next on the agenda, because this is like more children's book. Are we going to have like
is that leading to real children, Drew?
I know exactly.
Good segue.
She's giving me the look, the baby eyes look. Are you having?
Yeah.
Linda and I look forward to having kids someday soon. We're not rushing into it. We have, Linda's sisters, 2 of her sisters have kids, so we get the nieces and nephews fixed soon.
Right.
Kids are coming. You'll be the first to know.
Okay, good. that. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We're so excited for anything you are doing and all your projects. We love supporting you here.
And one thing I wanted to point out too, though, anybody who picks up Builder Brothers, go on social media, use hashtag Builder Brothers and post a picture, because we want to interact with you guys, want to hear what you think. It's such a fun read.